design and a different colour than everybody else, because that's what I like.
All right.
But anyway, we'll be right back with our next guest. You take care. Thank you so much.
Live streaming on social
look
media
that
is
up.
the
I
best
wanna
new
get
way
that
to
line.
interact and
Yeah,
bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be.
Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and of course you know where we are at Mariposa Restaurant. It's on the corner of Decatur and Sahara, and amazing restaurant. It's Mexican cuisine, which is a little bit sort of, it's not just like the regular Mexican restaurant. They've got the beautiful dinners, and they've also got a great luncheon, and of course drinks. They've got happy hour, got whole thing all above. And I have Lindsay Mays with me. Lindsay Mays is a singer. You know, I don't pre-interview, and I'm sure she's looking at me like, what are you going to talk about? That's what you're thinking, right?
A little bit, yes.
She doesn't know anything about me, and I don't know what to say. Oh, you've got plenty to say, believe me. How old are you, Lindsay?
I'm 17 years old.
17 years old,
Yes.
and you are a singer, and you've been
Yes.
singing since a very young age.
Yes, I've been singing since I was about 3 years old, so since I was
So
able
you were
to
singing
talk.
and not crying?
Yeah, basically. I was a good
She would
child.
come out singing instead of crying.
Yes, I
Did
was
you
singing.
know at 3 years old that you were going to be a singer, or that you wanted to sing? I mean, you're only 3.
No, actually, when I was younger, I did ballet, and
What do
I
you mean
did
younger? Younger than
karate.
We have
Well,
a
yeah,
miracle child
younger.
now. We have a miracle child.
I did ballet and karate, and then somehow this transitioned into theater, and then I decided that I didn't like theater, so I went into
And
doing...
this is all at 3 years old?
No.
No, a little older. Okay.
A little bit.
We've got our little...
It started at 3.
You started at 3.
Yes.
So you did theatre, and why did you not like theatre? Not enough singing?
Yeah, I think that was the main thing. I don't hate it, but I would rather watch it than actually be in
Than actually
it.
doing it?
Yeah.
Was it because you had to memorize all those lines and all that stuff? And
I
became
think
boring?
it was the dancing, actually, which was interesting because that was what I used to do, but I think that it was just too much on my brain to like do dancing,
with all of it.
singing, and yeah.
But don't you find there's a lot right now anyway that the singers dance as well? They have their own thing going, don't
Yes.
they? A lot of them do that. Have you ever
Yep.
considered doing that yet?
I have considered, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing some like dancing lessons just so I know
How
little
to move,
more.
how to move a little bit on stage. Even if you move on stage just by yourself,
Yeah.
you know, to learn what you can do in different steps and different things that you can suddenly put in there.
Exactly.
You like all that stuff. You're going to sing something for me?
I can.
Well, then you're going to.
Okay.
Go on, go ahead. Just sing something, little short something.
Dear Dad, oh, I miss you. You're not home. I miss when you call the phone. I want to hear your voice. You're my dad, and it's not a choice.
Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Did you write that?
I did.
Wow. And why did you write that particular in those words? What was the
So,
reasoning?
when I was about 9 years old, my dad decided that he did not want to be involved in my family anymore.
Uh-oh. Sounds
Yeah.
like divorce time.
Yeah, a little bit like that. And so I wrote a letter, and I actually transitioned it into a song about a year and a half ago. So I wrote like a melody line to it, and I kind of revised the words so that it sounded a little more poetic than just a letter, and it transitioned
into a
again. Yeah, into a song.
Because that seems to be where you gravitate all the time, is a song, because that's what you actually do, and that's what you
Yes.
enjoy. Now, did that transition happen? Did your father leave, or did he stay? Or has he come back?
He did leave. I speak to him occasionally, but it's a little rocky, so
Is that kind of disappointing to you?
it
as a dad?
is. It is, but I find that singing helps me kind of cope with
To
that.
get over all that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Are you the only child, or you have brothers and sisters?
I am an only child.
You're an only child. So
Yes.
That's probably even worse, because you know you talk to your mum all the time, and you'd like to talk to
Yeah.
your dad. So, did you get on with him very well when they were married?
Yeah, when my dad was around, we got along very well. I was like your typical daddy's girl. Like, he took
Cool.
me to do everything,
Yeah.
and I was like his star child.
Isn't that beautiful? And so obviously you miss all that.
Yeah.
So you see him once a year, twice a year. You see him.
I haven't seen him in about 8 years, but we speak.
Oh my goodness,
sometimes.
Dad! Come on, get your act together. She's 17. Is that because we're getting into a whole different subject? But is that because of your mom and dad that you haven't done that in respect to your mom?
No. So my dad suffers from an alcohol addiction.
He puts it.
But he's,
How cool is that?
my mom is a therapist, so.
Oh no, that would never go
Yeah.
together. She's probably forever
No.
nagging him. You know, you drank too much, you come home drunk, da da da. Oh, goodness gracious. I love the way you put it though.
But he suffers from an alcohol addiction, and so it's mainly his choice to not come around, which is fine. It's
I
his
would
choice.
imagine. Yeah, that's his choice, and you don't mind that.
Yeah.
Do you think when you're 18 things will change?
I don't think so.
No.
Just because like talking to him now is really awkward because he hasn't been in my life for
Yeah.
8 years.
So it's a little hard.
Yeah, it's a little bit like I don't know.
But you
if
get
I
your
would-
satisfaction and everything out of your mum.
Yeah,
You
my
have a
mom
great mom.
is
There
like
we
my
go.
mom and my dad, but she hates when I say that.
Yeah, because you got rid of him. And you keep
Yeah.
But children, children don't know. Children don't understand all that. They just know that that's my dad and that's my mom, and
Yeah.
and that's what they know. They don't really go. They will never know that because they just don't know until maybe you have your own boyfriend and your own children, and then you'll understand it a little better. Probably,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand what anymore. So, does your mother encourage your singing?
My mom is the main encourager of my singing, actually.
Oh.
So she like pays for my vocal lessons and all that, and yeah.
So you go to vocal lessons every week, or?
So I did prior to COVID. I went to vocal lessons every single week, and so it was not necessarily teaching me to sing. It was just refining what I already know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that practicing your voice and different ways to sing? Do they show you? Do they give you different ways how to use your mouth? Because it all comes out of your mouth and your throat and your diaphragm and all that stuff. So do they teach you how to sort of change it and use it and take in longer notes?
Yeah, so my vocal coach had a boot camp, and he literally like showed us the science behind singing, like how
Oh,
it
really?
works. Yeah, so it's not actually your vocal cords, it's like inside of
It's
your
inside.
Yeah, and
Oh.
so it really matters how your posture is while you're singing, and he taught us how like to eat, because you're not supposed to have dairy before you sing either. And so it's a lot. Yeah.
Wow, we're getting a big lesson out there. It's not costing anything. So he tells you what to do. Well, they always say don't eat before you perform.
Yeah.
I
just
don't
in
ever
general.
eat. Yeah, I don't ever eat before I perform because when you eat, you kind of go down. You kind
Yeah.
of don't have the energy, so you want to keep that energy up. Now, when you go to write a song, do you write all your own songs?
I do write all of my songs. I have done covers of songs by other artists, but
Yes.
I've never recorded and put out a song that wasn't written by me.
So you've got songs out there that are put out. You've recorded some of your songs?
Yes, I have
This is
songs
getting
on
interesting.
Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Pandora.
And what are they under? What name are they?
My name is Lindsay Duke. and
Lindsay
that's
Duke, 'cause I
Lindsay
know-
with an A, not an
Lindsay.
E.
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Okay, well, get it right. Lindsay Duke. Because I know you go under another name, but it's under Lindsay Duke. And you've got how many recordings do you have out there?
So I have a full album with 12 songs, and I have a single.
And what's your single? Is the single the one you just sung?
No, so the song that I just sang is called Dear Dad, and it's on my album. My album is called The Light. And then I have a single called Walks on Water, and it talks a little bit about my journey with like God and kind of
Can you
just
sing a little bit of that?
Okay, so this song is really personal to me, so it's called Walks on Water. Thank God my lifeguard walks on water. Oh, yeah, yeah. The gunshots, the pain, the lies and the stabbings. Why is all of this stuff still happening? What's going on in the outside world? All of the evil is being unveiled when the shots fire and the lies are told. And there's a guy I know, he helps me through it all. He's a light in a world of all dark. He has a never-ending spark. When your self-esteem is altered, lay down at the altar, 'cause there is a lifeguard that walks on water.
What you? That's the main problem with me crying here. You wrote that.
Yes.
So you were mixing God with all the tragedy that we're having. We've got
Yeah.
so much tragedy out there. So many shootings, and I still don't know a lot of the reasoning or the reasons why they're shooting people. I don't quite understand. They're walking into. I mean, 2 police officers were shot the other day for a woman that called. There was an argument, whatever was going on, and the police walk in and they're both shot. So was it a set-up deal to shoot the police, or was it? We probably will never know that.
It's really tragic.
But you being very young, you're only 17. I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand a little bit of what the war's going on, but do you think it's the devil coming out and the devil's unveiling himself?
I actually talk about that in the song.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of like violence and things that happen that we don't know how to explain. And so for a lot of people who are religious, the best explanation is that it's the devil who is kind of orchestrating.
Surfacing. Yeah, he's surfacing in different ways in different places. And is that because you're only 17 and that's how you feel and that's how you see it?
Yeah, a little bit. So I know that a lot of things are just like, it comes down to facts and statistics that are out there, but like in order for me to feel kind of comforted, I can just know that like there's a higher power that has my best interests in mind.
So do you want to give the message to all the younger generation? You want to give them the message that they could actually change this? The younger generation, because it seems to me that a lot of the younger generation are doing these shootings. They seem to be, quite young. And so you think that if you put this message out there, they will listen and maybe understand?
Yeah, I think that the main message I'm trying to put out there is just that if you use your voice, if you use the talents that you have, whether it's writing, whether it's art, even if it's just like playing instruments, it's really important to put that out there because there's always someone who's going to listen. And so being a positive light to other generations that are even younger than I am is really important to me. But a lot
so they can actually think of their world being brought up in a different way other than shooting and violence.
Yeah, exactly.
And try to say something nice instead of saying something bad. It's like, I see when you walk out of a door, they just let it slam in your face, and that was not how I was brought up. You always kind of paid attention to what was around you, and to like give the courtesy of her. But I see so many things that are they're just rude, and but I don't know if it's because they're not taught, or whether it's because they just don't know, or whether they're ignoring the fact. What do you think? Are they just doing their own thing?
Well, I think there's a mix of both, because there's people who have been taught proper manners and don't follow them.
Yeah.
But I know that I was raised to open the door for people. I was raised to be kind before anything else.
Before anything, and that's how I was raised. I was raised to at least be, say hello or smile or do something. But now it seems to be sort of, it's not that at all. It's like, the worse and more nasty you are, the better off you are. I don't get that. But
Yeah,
so
it's
do you think it's
interesting.
more of the younger generation, or do you think it's more of just how they see themselves?
I think it comes down to how people are raised, because a lot of things that I was taught by my mom, someone else was not taught by their parents.
Yeah.
And so it is, to a certain extent, the generation has not been taught.
It's a big generation
Yeah,
gap.
there's a huge, there's a lot of trauma that people go through that create personalities, and there's just so many different factors to why people are the way they are.
So you're going to try to change, this young lady is going to try to change how you can change yourself as in music
Yes.
and in lyrics, and hopefully they're going to listen to those lyrics and listen to what you're saying.
Yes, I hope so.
See, look, she hopes so. So
I hope
are
so.
you doing it for that reason?
I always, in everything that I do, my highest intention is to help people. And so the reason I write my songs is so that there's someone who doesn't have a support system. It's so that that person feels as though they have someone who will listen to them. And so my lyrics are always positive. They're always encouraging, because there's not a lot of people that grew up with that.
This is such a great message for our younger generation that don't support, and we do understand that the mums and dads are out working and they're trying to sort of, make money to give the children the education and to better their children. At the meantime, they're missing out
Yes.
because they're more over here than they are where they should be with their children. If you could give advice to your mum and dad divorced. What did you feel when that happened? Because you didn't understand why, probably. Well, you probably did, but not really, because you're only, 9 years old, 8 years old? What did you feel? I mean, were you disappointed? And it's like,
So my parents didn't have a proper divorce, because they were never married, and so I didn't really have experience with marriage, it's important. And so
you couldn't say
yeah,
that?
it wasn't terribly detrimental to
No.
who I am, but in a way I was
You're used to your mum and dad.
yeah, I was where's my dad? I was where'd he go? What the heck?
Yeah, where is he? What's he
I
doing
was
now?
why is he
So you
not
did,
at home?
because he was always there. You were always able to talk to him about different things that you probably wouldn't talk to your mum about. Because I'm quite sure there's a relationship with your father, and there's a relationship with your mother, and then there's the relationship with adopted parents, and there's all different relationships going along, especially this day and age.
Yeah.
There's lots of, so you've got to actually, as a young person, they've got to deal with it.
Yep.
And the way you deal with it is through music.
Yes. I deal with almost everything through
Everything
music.
with music. Okay, so where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Music by Linz, and that's LINDZ. And then you can find all of my music on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Pandora under Lindsay Duke. Or Lindsay Duke.
Lindsay, yeah, Lindsay Duke. She's got these different names going around. Did you put all this together? Did you put yourself on all these platforms?
Yes.
I knew she did, because the
Yep.
younger generation and this computer stuff, they just it's all up there and done and gone. I'm sort of da, 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 da. So you put yourself up there. Are you getting yourself a big name out there?
Not right now.
Well, now you
However,
are, because now she's on Vegas.
Yes,
now
I'm
she's on
working-
Vegas Live with Ninon.
Yes.
And we're going to boost her up there. And we're going to make sure we get her out there, because that's what Vegas Live with Ninon does. What we actually do on this show is we have a lot of entertainment people, but as well as lawyers and people running for politics. And we have all different people on our set. But our main thing is the entertainment business, and it doesn't matter what you are, what you do. So, if you can support her with all the platforms she's given you out there, Lindsay Duke,
Yes.
make sure I get it right as well, Lindsay Duke, and make sure that, and also go to YouTube, Vegas Live with Ninon, and subscribe, and then also become a member, and also become what was the other thing we have to come? There's a thing there called join, and when you join, it costs you something so much every month, but you get all different things that my producer will send you. There's a whole package you get. And of course, we have our website and everything else. And don't forget, we're at Mariposa Restaurant. Absolutely amazing. And that's on, obviously in Las Vegas, and that's on the corner of Sahara and Decatur. And we'll be right back with our next guest. You take care. Thank you very much for coming on. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together.
Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host. I have Cesare with me and Veronica. And, you know, I don't pre-interview, so I don't even know what they do, which is fascinating to me because that makes a great conversation. I'm down here at the beautiful restaurant called Mariposa, absolutely wonderful, and it's Mexican cuisine, which is a little bit above just a Mexican restaurant. It's absolutely beautiful in here. And Cesare, how are you?
I'm great.
It's good to see you. I met Cesare some time ago, but I never had you on my show, right?
No,
No. And Veronica?
Yes.
I've had you on my show?
You have not. This is
No,
the first for both
time.
of us.
So,
Yes.
and I don't even know what they do. What do you both do? This is fascinating, isn't it? I asked you out there to guess. Guess what they do? I don't know. She's very, very pretty, though.
Oh, thank you.
She's,
Thanks.
I don't-
I'm
what
going
do
to tell you about him. I would love to tell you about what he does. We have a photography studio. We're a husband and wife team.
Oh, you're husband and wife?
Yes, we're husband and wife.
I've also we've got the same last name. How long have you been married?
29 years.
Oh, I was married for 29 years. Unfortunately, my husband passed away, but I was
Sorry to
29.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too. I'm very sorry. And I haven't been able to get kind of connected since then, since he passed away. I just can't.
You're not
don't-
ready?
No, but it's like 17, 18 years. I'm still not ready.
Well, he must have been a special person.
He was very special,
Yeah.
and I'm not comparing any of them with him, but maybe I am. I don't know what I'm. Anyway, I haven't found anyone. Doesn't make any difference. 29 years.
29
So it's
years.
working.
It's working.
It's
Yes.
working very, very well. And you have children?
We
Yes,
do.
we do.
Wonderful. Boys, girls? Girls?
Two girls.
Two
Two
girls.
oh, two
Yeah,
girls.
yes.
How wonderful. And how old are they now?
27 and 22.
Oh, how amazing.
28, sorry. They both had birthdays in January. So 28 and 22.
Me too.
Oh, and
And
you
we're
look-
going to be grandparents for the first time in February.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're happy for that.
Moving along here. Now, you both do photography. You do it together?
He
or
does photography.
Yeah.
I'm behind the scenes
She's my
with the
market-
photography?
Yes.
with the photography.
So you do photography as well, but behind the scenes of the photography?
Yes.
In other words, you organize
I
everything
organize.
that you're taking photographs of.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I like the way he says absolutely, which means that he could not do it without you, Veronica. That's
He
what
could.
he could. I think anybody.
It's a lot of more work.
I think anybody can do anything by
Yes,
themselves or
yes.
whatever they want
Yes,
to do.
but it's a lot of more work.
Yes, but with this, you've got it all worked out.
I can breathe.
Yes, you can. Well, you look. Doesn't he look happy? He looks. You both look very, very happy. It's nice to see a marriage that's 29 years old and is still going strong. So let's keep it that way. So when you go, I believe in all that stuff. So when you go, what sort of photography do you do? Because I know there's a lot of people do portraits, they do landscapes, they do. What do you do?
Well, if I go, my background is I'm a people photographer. I photograph people for so many, but my background, I came from photojournalism.
Photojournalism.
Yes, and then I moved to, from Italy, they moved me to LA, they assigned me to LA, and I work with celebrity for editorial. I did 23 years in LA.
Oh, really? I'm
Yes.
surprised I didn't meet up with you. I was,
Editorial photographer. I did
Yeah.
a lot of celebrities there, and we decided in 2003 to leave LA and open a fine art studio, and we never looked back.
in Vegas.
We moved to another town in Loma Linda,
Oh, Loma
and
Linda.
then in 2009 we moved to Vegas.
And you haven't regretted moving
No,
to
no, I
Vegas?
love Vegas.
Love Vegas.
Love
And
Vegas.
The reason you must love Vegas, because every time when anybody loves a place, is because things are going well and work is going well. How have you been able to establish yourself in Vegas? Was that by your past experiences of people living here?
No, I think what happened is I got very lucky. I got very
There's
lucky.
no such thing as luck, believe me. You know that, right? Yeah, I know. No.
No. I mean,
He's being very humble,
He
I
is.
believe.
Yeah.
no, the celebrity didn't help, but did help a little bit. It's funny how it started. I had a connection with another photographer that was very well known in Chicago, and asked me, you should do a campaign, an advertising with Yelp.
Okay, Yelp, yeah.
Yeah.
We all know what Yelp is. Yelp's on,
Yes,
is one of
and
the platforms
so-
on the internet.
Absolutely.
Yelp produced the headline and say, let's do headshots with celebrity photographer Cesare. And well, I sold a bunch of them. And that's how I
He's
started.
calling this luck. Well, you had to put it out there, to get it out there, to have the photographs, to do the whole thing.
It started, and it ricocheted my business, and it really worked out
So
perfect.
this friend of yours was a true friend in Chicago.
Yes.
He told you, there's nothing like having a true
Yeah,
friend. This
and-
really is a friend.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yes, and
It's a
he
great advice.
passed last year, but he was a very, very famous,
Oh.
Mark Hauser, very famous photographer.
Mark Hauser, I know the
He
name.
did a lot of celebrities.
Yes, he did.
Major A-list photographer.
Yes, he was.
We were
yes.
very dear friends. We kept
He was big in Los Angeles.
very big.
But, yeah, I know him. Well, I didn't
Mark
know
Hauser,
him.
he was he was the photographer in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
And he fell off a crane on the motion picture studio, and he got paralyzed, and he couldn't walk. He had problem with his leg, and he moved to Chicago, opened a studio, and he worked on the wheelchair taking photos.
So he never gave up. Isn't that
He never
amazing?
gave
What a
up.
beautiful story
Yes,
that
yes.
is.
And he said, I did a Yelp and I sold 600. I said, do a Yelp, and and I sold 400.
I'm going to tell Maria, get us on Yelp. she's got a pen then. She's writing it all down. Put Vegas Live with Ninon on
No,
Yelp.
my relationship with Yelp was amazing. It was fantastic. They helped me. I mean, it was very helpful. So
Well, don't Yelp have all the platforms on them that you can put your stuff on all these different platforms?
Well, I choose one item that I could sell through them.
One item. You
Yes.
found the item.
Headshots.
Headshots.
Yes.
So you did headshots.
Yes, that's what I do.
You know, it's so funny because when I started modeling in London, and I had to have a headshot done, and headshots are the most important thing when you start
Absolutely.
out. You can't go anywhere or do anything. And I remember I had saved £100. I was only 17 at the time. I had saved £100, and 35 pounds of that 100 went to having these headshots done. So there's all my money. It took me a year to save £100. It was all my money kind of went over there. But that was the most important thing. And I had these photographs taken. I'd love to show you them sometime. And they were absolutely beautiful. I mean,
Thank goodness.
a little
that's
bit
good.
different.
That's
you
good.
know.
Yeah,
But they
that's
got
good.
me, and you're absolutely right. These headshots got me from A to B. But you had to lay that money out, and you had to find some. I still try to figure out who did I find and how did I find them. I didn't know anybody in London, and I found somebody that was good.
Perfect.
And is that what you're supposed to find?
Yes.
So did you do a lot of modeling, a lot of film stars?
Yeah, I did photograph a lot of celebrity in Hollywood.
And were they already celebrities?
Yes.
They were already.
I did all the cover for the magazine. She can talk. It's something I
He's being very humble, but his work has
I
been
want to
seen.
know. I want to know where. Come on.
His work has been seen in major publications, and especially in Europe. Hello, OK, In Style magazine, People. He actually has done celebrities that started off as babies, but
Really? And
yeah.
name a few.
Pierce Brosnan, Johnny Depp,
Oh,
Jane
really? Johnny
Seymour,
Depp?
yeah,
Jane
Charles
Seymour.
Bronson.
Jane
This
Seymour is a dear friend.
Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone.
Oh, Sharon Stone's adorable.
He actually took the first pictures of Elvis's grandbaby.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Or Priscilla?
Yes, I'm a dear friend with Priscilla. She helped me out. She was a tremendous help in my career in Hollywood. She gave me a chance. She gave me
And
the
you know
exclusive
something?
the exclusive photo of the
Her baby.
Our baby. When our daughter was having the baby,
Of
she
Lisa's-
called me.
Lisa's
Lisa
baby.
Mary.
Is that one?
Yes, she says, Cesare, come and do the photo.
So you got photographs of Lisa's baby?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Yes, it was
But it's
it was
funny
a very
because I don't
good
know
deal.
if many people know out there, it's when you get that break, when somebody gives you a break or they say they want you to do this and they have
It was
the
a
respect.
yes, it was a that was very good. But also, what it helped me tremendously financially. It helped. I was able to open up a studio and really start because the finances were very good on that deal.
See, that's how it works. You've got to get
Yes.
somebody to come along
Somebody.
and help you, and that
Definitely.
that trusts you and help you. It's funny. I had Priscilla at a Christmas party of mine. I used to live in Bel Air, and I had her at one of my parties, and and I just looked at her, and she was just amazing. Priscilla was incredible.
She's a
Very
lovely
charismatic.
lady.
She had very little makeup. It looked as if it was very little makeup, but it was so finely done.
It's beautiful skin, yeah. She's-
Beautiful.
yeah.
I mean, just a very quiet lady.
Yes, she
Yes.
is.
So with all these celebrities and what you do, are you still involved with all this in Vegas?
Not
Not as much.
If sometime I will have like Jane Seymour that called me to do a photo session.
Okay.
or
She's living here?
No, she's come here because she does sells furnitures
Okay.
with the design line,
Yeah.
and also we did Linda Gray. We did a couple of the old stars
Old
from
stars.
yes.
Doesn't Anne Margaret live in Vegas?
I'm not sure if she's
I'm not
here or
sure.
not.
Yes, I believe she does. I know. Yeah, I think.
No, I'm
she's
totally
on.
focused on we are photographing business people here
So
in
you're
Vegas.
photographing. Is it high-end business people?
Yes.
Or mostly high-end. And who can we publicize on that?
Well, I enjoy working with Ed Bernstein. He's one of my clients.
Ed Bernstein. Ed Bernstein's a lawyer, isn't
Yes.
he?
Yes.
Got to know my stuff, haven't I?
Yes, you do.
And one
got
of
that
the
much stuff.
greatest, we love working with Benson and Bingham. It's a great law firm.
Okay.
And we have several law firms, and also we work with Chicago Title. We do a lot of their.
Chicago Title I have worked with because I'm in real estate as well, so I
Yes.
know Chicago Title. Excellent.
Yes.
Yes, and Valerie Grijalva was a big opening for me to
Who?
refer. Valerie Grijalva, she's the head of Chicago Title here.
Yes, yes.
And she helped me out
Yes.
tremendously. So it's been like a.
And is it kind of word of mouth? But I mean, I know it's word of mouth, but it's also the end job. It's what you act, isn't it? I mean, come
Yes,
on.
it's the talent, and you have to be able to show great work,
You've got to
quality
show the
work.
talent.
Yeah.
You've got to show the photography.
Yes.
So you're behind the scenes,
I am.
and you are setting up a lot of this stuff of how to do it and what to do, and
I
then
do
you
some of the
come in.
marketing, and then he comes
No, no,
in.
she sets up the scene.
I know
She
she's now
pushes
being humble.
Yes.
These are two very humble
No,
people.
this one is really creative and really pushed the envelope on me. So that's good. She keeps me on my tippy toes.
And you love every minute of it.
No.
No, it's
At
kind
least
of
it's being
we pull.
honest.
Yeah, it's a pull.
You pull each
Yeah,
other,
Yeah.
We
you know,
pull each
and
other.
it must be hard for you. You know, it's always hard for a woman trying to tell the husband what to do to change something, because you, as a woman, we actually, and it's because we bear children, we see that.
See,
Yes.
yeah.
We see it. Men don't.
Yes, and I there's certain things that when you have a camera, when your eyes is on the camera,
Yes.
even the person next to you doesn't see the same thing.
No, not
so
at all.
you have to be
Focus. No
focus.
pun intended.
Yes. So it's little details like, but the overall
But
the
it's the
attention.
details. It's those little tiny details
The
that,
attention
that
she
make
puts
it.
on the clothes, on the makeup, make sure everything is done right.
So
you
you
know-
make sure instead of the clothes is facing this way, face
no,
it
we
that
have-
way, turn it this way, do
Sure.
this, and
Sure.
Yes, and we have a couple of ways to be more friendly to our clients, and she's helping a lot on that. We
Yeah.
have conversation. We're trying to know who they are
well, and what they want.
and
Right.
what they want. That's very important.
Because you are actually filming something of what they see, but you also see it in a different way because you're trying to see the best way. And how
Absolutely.
can it promote what
Yes.
they're
What
trying to
they're
do
trying to
and
do.
getting their message in there as well?
And
Yes.
we're working a lot with people that aren't accustomed to being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So they need to be coached. They need to be guided on how to pose.
Okay, I'm going to ask Ed Bernstein to smile.
He's
Oh
a,
no, we just kind of make him laugh
Yeah,
differently.
laugh.
He's a, I
He
like
was
it.
very
adorable.
nice. He's, yes,
He is
he's
so
adorable.
fantastic. He's so
Yeah.
professional.
Yes.
He comes in and he does his job. He poses. He knows what he do, and
He knows what he wants.
Oh, he knows
knows what he
exactly
wants.
what he
What he
wants.
wants.
But he's also very good at making sure that the person who is the expert can do what they do best.
Yes, he doesn't
He does-
control.
he doesn't
lets
control.
me do
He
what I.
lets you, because he knows, because
Absolutely.
that's your job. You
Yes.
know, all of us have different jobs to do. And all of us do it in a different way. I'm a talk
Right.
show host, and I do mine in a different way to maybe somebody else. A lot of people like me, thank goodness. But there's also a few out there that criticize me, which is fine, because without criticism,
Right.
you can't really move forward.
Absolutely.
You know, I always remember a saying in LA when I used to work, especially with Sylvester Stallone. He said to me, "I wish people tell me always the truth. How I look, how do I, you know, but they
I
don't
love
tell
that.
me."
No, they don't. They say, "Oh, you look wonderful," and you think, "I know I didn't look wonderful, and I know I should have said that a different way." And you know
Yes.
that because
And I learned that, and I kept it, and I storaged on my
Keep
memory.
it, yes.
Yes, because our client, they all want one thing, is to be welcoming, and people can reach them.
yes.
So my goal is to make them look welcoming, and people
You
can.
want the audience to look at this photograph
Yes.
and say, I want to call them.
Exactly. Especially a real estate agent or a lawyer. It depends. I have to be very careful with the lawyer. Family law firm is a little bit different because
Oh,
they handle
yes.
divorce cases. You don't want too smiley shots,
No.
but you want something
Yeah,
that.
I'm happy with the person might be happy. I'm getting a divorce, I love it. I'm just joking, come on guys. But yeah, no, I understand.
You
So
understand?
you've got to get the atmosphere.
Yes.
The right atmosphere and the
Right.
right
Yes.
presentation.
Yes.
As of to what you're presenting out there and how
Yes.
you want people to come
Absolutely.
to perceive you
Absolutely.
as a
Yes.
phone call.
Yes.
It's funny, a psychiatrist asked me some time ago, a couple of months ago, he wanted me to sell a piece of property over. So he said, what's the first thing you would do when you would talk to a client? And I said, well, the first thing I would do is I would talk to that person, I would get them to like me.
Yes.
I said, that's the first thing I've got to do. I've got to
Absolutely.
get them to like me and who I am.
Yes.
And I think that is in everything. It's in what you do, it's what you do, it's what I do, it's what my producer does. We've got to get people to like you, and you can't always do that, but at least do your best
Well,
to do that.
yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah,
100%.
sometimes it's hard because sometimes you meet people and you think,
But sometimes
Right,
we see
right,
we see the change of a person. Sometimes we see them coming to the studio, and
Yes.
they're very
nervous and
nervous and
anxious.
tense.
Yes.
Yes,
Now
anxious.
you've got to calm them down.
That's correct.
That's what I do to all most of
Most of your guests.
I
Yeah.
do. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? Because I don't pre-interview, so they all sort of get worried and
Right.
nervous. And I said, "Don't worry, I'll make something up. Don't worry."
Don't
And they
Yes.
said, "Well, how do you know?" I said, "I don't know.
It just
You just know.
You just
yes.
know.
You
yes.
just
And
because
so-
you know your job."
And sometimes I see them really worried. When I see a lady that's worried, then we
We
work-
Between the two of us, we just talk. Yeah.
we just talk.
Talk
We
a little
just
bit.
stop
Get
everything.
her- yeah,
Sit
make
her
her laugh
down,
a little bit.
Coffee,
yeah.
we talk, and we try to find out what she really worries about.
And what she really wants.
Yes.
That's amazing. They are just amazing. So how can anybody reach you?
So they can give us a call. We are, of course, on the website. Our website is www.cesarephotography.com. We are also launching, we have actual new promotion that we're doing right now. It's called 40 over 40, and we wish we would have been able to talk a little bit more about that.
But at least you got it out there.
Yeah,
You
got it
40
out
over
there.
40, whatever it means. What does it mean?
We're photographing 40 women over 40 that have wonderful stories
I'm
to
not
tell.
there yet. I'm 39
No,
and
we're all
holding.
39.
So, yeah,
we're all
no,
39.
39 and holding. We haven't got there yet, so keep
So
me out
over
of that
40,
one.
50s, and 60s, up 70s, we're telling their story. These women have lots of information.
Women
to
and
share.
men?
Women.
Women only? Oh, this is a
we're
women's
empowering
thing.
Yes, for ladies,
Yes.
because we're at this point where we have a lot to share. We have a lot to give.
Yes.
And we're sometimes pushed and pushed aside.
And a lot to help.
Yeah, and a lot to give.
Yes.
Definitely
Yeah,
a lot
we
to
have
give.
a
So
lot to
we're-
give, a lot to help out there, especially with the younger generation. And I don't
Yes.
think there's enough knowledge out there from us older
From us older ladies.
women
and, yes,
that have been
we
through
wanna
it. We
share these
know what
stories.
goes through. We know what
Yes.
happens. It's
Yes.
even men helping the young boys because they know they've been through it. You know, well, don't do this and do this and go here and
Correct.
do. And we need that because at the same time, you know, I always say to everybody out there, there's about 20 years difference, 25-year difference between a man and a woman and the babies. There's
Oh,
that
yes.
20 years, 25-year gap
Yes.
of what you've done and what you're starting to do. So don't forget that. Don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon. Don't forget to call them. And absolutely amazing. So if you want a photograph taken, you know where to go. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. And don't forget Mariposa. And don't forget social media shows. That who is my producer. We've just taken over Ninon Speaks. So Maria Pureza is going to be doing Ninon Speaks now as a new show. It's not a new show. It's actually a show that started way back in 2005, which was a private show of mine. And now we extended it, and now Maria Pureza is going to be taking it over. We'll be right back with our next guest. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show.
We are back again, Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and I have Daryl with me. He's been on my show a couple of times, but over the years, because we're now doing this show for 7 years, Vegas Live with Ninon for 7
it's been a
years.
while.
7 years in Vegas is pretty tough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough journey, I'll tell you. I guess I should know. I've been through it. Or I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
But to stay in with what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's. But I always say, without all of you out there, nothing happens. Without you and without all my guests, nothing happens. So,
Right.
it's not just a one person doing it, though. It's perseverance on
takes
my
a,
side.
It takes a village.
It takes a village. It
Sometimes.
doesn't take one person.
Exactly.
It takes a village. It takes Las Vegas to do this, especially in the entertainment business.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
you are in the entertainment business, and you're now telling me, because he keeps going up the ladder. We all do the same thing. We start here, and then let's do
Yeah,
this.
there's actually been a lot of changes with me since we first met.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot. So I want to hear about all these changes that have
Ah.
gone. You now have a podcast.
Yeah, I have Music Matters with Daryl Craig Harris, which is my music podcast.
Now, music matters. I
Right.
love that matters bit, because music does matter.
Absolutely.
Why?
Right. Well, I think it's sort of the soul of our lives, right?
It's never going to go out. It's not
Right.
going
It's
anywhere.
memories. It's our special moments in our lives. The music's always tied with that. So I
Isn't
started
that
that
true?
actually. Yeah, and I started that with when the COVID thing happened.
See, we all got something out of COVID.
Had
We
to
all got
switch.
something
Yeah.
positive out of COVID.
Right.
And you did.
Yeah, I kind of woke up and everything was
I
shut
gotta do
down.
something.
Yeah, and everything was shut down. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I manage music pages in Europe. It's Music Crowns.
Now, what's music pages?
Yeah, so Facebook music pages.
Okay.
There's large ones. So one of them is in London, which is Music Crowns, and the
Okay.
other one's in Italy,
Okay.
Basic Guitar Love. So they have 7 million followers around
Okay.
the world. So I edit and contribute to those
You've
pages.
got to add our show to all this, Maria.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, my job listing is like that long. So I have those pages, and I kind of woke up one day when the COVID thing was happening. I'm like, how am I going to
I'm going to manipulate around what? Since
Right.
we're all closed down around the world, everybody was closed around
Right.
the world. So it was a worldly thing.
Yeah, so I decided to start the podcast, and we were just talking about Zoom. So I
Yes.
used Zoom I was getting people from England and people from Japan, which we're still doing, and yeah, it's been going good.
Isn't that amazing? Because I have a show, Ninon Speaks, which now we have Maria Pureza is now the producer, and Ninon Speaks is a similar show to what I do here, but it's international, where
Right.
those people, somebody like you said in Japan,
Yep.
they're not in Vegas. My Vegas show, Vegas Live with Ninon, is live in Vegas, whereas having the other show brings in all these other.
Yeah, obviously you have a lot of connections in England, you have
Well,
connections around the
yes,
world, so why
yes.
not take advantage of that?
And I even lived in Beirut for a couple of years,
Oh,
so
awesome.
I've got a few people there too.
Right.
I don't know if they remember me. I was a little bit younger then.
Amazing beaches, I know. Yeah, I think the thing is, it's a big world, and when you take the time to do interviews and even though it's in Vegas, people around the world are curious about Vegas.
Well, they love Vegas. People
Exactly.
love Vegas, so I happen to have fallen into a very nice slot
Right.
being in Vegas.
And
so
you're
that-
great at what you do.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
you. Well, I try. I sort of,
It's a process.
It's a process. It is a process. It's not something you just wake up and you have breakfast and you say, I'll go and interview.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. Everybody thinks, sometimes I'm sitting just looking, but I'm not empty. I'm sure
Right.
you do that a
Yeah.
lot as
Yeah,
well.
it's a lot, because like for me, I'm booking the show. I just recently, I was telling you, I got some really great sponsors. One of them is Kathy Ireland. So now I'm working with Kathy Ireland worldwide.
Okay, and what are you
So-
doing with her?
Right. Well, they contacted me because I've known them for a while. I shot photos with her a couple of years ago here in
Okay.
Vegas.
Yes.
And she's such a sweet lady. So her CEO contacted me a couple months ago when I was in New York and said that they would like to sponsor my podcast. And she has a record label, which a lot of people don't know. So it's EE1 Records. So she has Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis on that label, Vanessa Williams, and some other
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
Got some good names on
right,
that.
and some
Yeah.
other awesome folks. There's a lot happening with
Well,
that.
Kathy Ireland is an amazing woman. I mean,
Yeah.
she's done a lot as a woman because it's
Right.
been hard, but she started way, way back.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't really know what she's done since being a supermodel.
Yes.
She actually has a really successful company, which is Kathy Ireland Worldwide, and it's over a $2 billion company. She does a lot of licensing for home furnishing
I was
products.
going to say, she has a lot of furnishing products, which
Right.
I can remember, lampshades and
Michael
different
Amini,
things.
yeah.
I remember all that. That's right.
So it's fascinating, and she has a great team around her. It's like family. They've all been together for many years.
Yes.
So they've sort of invited me to join them.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's really
well,
awesome.
I'm going to say it's only because of the work you do. It's only because you've taken the responsibility on to
Yeah.
do what you're doing and to do it well.
And I try to be nice. That helps.
Yes.
Be professional,
Especially-
show up, and be nice.
Well, I
Those
think,
are,
I think being professional is definitely one, but showing up is definitely a lot of people. Why don't a lot of people get these contacts, get this stuff, and they don't show up?
I think a lot of people, what I've found in my life is a lot of people self-sabotage because they have kind of a fear of success. So they'll get to a certain point and then they'll kind of freeze up. And I think
Yeah.
for me, like what I realize is our every day here is limited. And I think, when I've learned the most is when I've been the most uncomfortable. When I've had to struggle the hardest is when I've
You have
learned
to
the
struggle,
most.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If everything's easy, then you're not really learning as much. I think.
No, I think learning is absolutely amazing.
Right. And growing, right.
And growing your business. And I'd like saying, Vegas Live has been here 7 years now, and growing it, and it's starting. I never thought when it started it would still be here at 7
Right.
years, and being in this amazing restaurant, Mariposa, which now we represent. We film in a few restaurants to give them.
Yeah, and it's a nice vibe and it's friendly
It's a
and
lovely.
relaxed.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I think the thing with you, I mean, we hadn't had a chance to talk about that. How did you get involved in interviewing people? How did that happen? I'm gonna switch the tables a little bit.
Switching tables. The last time this happened, I had to change seats, but we're not changing
No,
seats
no.
this time. No, we'd have to
No, but I am curious.
How did I start it? I started it. I was living in Bel Air, and I was married at the time, and I felt I was losing my identity. So I started a show called Voices. Actually, it was called Kids Talk. And the reason I started that show was to interview the younger generation.
Okay.
And the reason I did that was because I left home at 16 with $5. I
Wow.
had no education. I never went to school. I never had all the above. I didn't even know what I was going to do. But I
Right.
was pretty enough to be able to go into modeling.
Okay.
So I went into modeling, and that's why I kind of started.
Right.
But when
You
I
kinda
got,
learned the world,
I learned
learned
the
the
world,
ropes,
yeah, and I
right.
went around the world actually, and did very well in modeling. I did extremely well. But then, after being married for about, I don't know, it was about 5 years, 10 years, I was losing my identity as a person, so I started a
Right.
show called Kids Talk, and then I turned it into Voices of Tomorrow.
Ah, okay.
And that's where I was interviewing children, and that's how I learned.
Which is hard. That is very hard to do.
You can't. Well, this is how I learned never
Yeah.
to pre-interview.
Yeah.
Because I would pre-interview. I did it one time. I went to the school. I remember in Los Angeles. I went to the school. I thought, I'll pre-interview all these kids before on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So one of them turned around. I was asking them the same questions I
We
asked
already
them the
talked
day
about
before.
this.
Exactly what you already asked me that question. We've
Yeah.
already talked. And I thought.
Because kids are pure souls. They don't
They're
know this,
lovely.
right? Yeah.
So that's how I started.
That's great.
And I did that.
That's
show.
like boot camp, right? That's like going in the army.
Because you never know what children are going to say.
Right.
And especially when you don't pre-interview them.
Yep.
And they'd look at me and say, what are we talking about? I said, don't worry about it. But it
Yeah.
would always be something they knew. It was
Right.
something either
But they
their
were
school
familiar, right.
or a foundation or
Yeah.
football or whatever the case was.
That's
It
what
was
I,
always-
for my podcast, what I do is I'll talk to people before we actually start. But when they start telling me too much, I'm like, well, hold
no,
it.
that's
Yep.
what I do.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. That's
so
enough.
what I do for my podcast, if people have seen it, so we're like at 220,000 downloads or whatever. But so what I do is I have my iPad and I have just bullet points.
Yes.
Not really questions.
Yes.
I have just basically like directions, so I can kind of
Yes.
be like a guided chat
Yes.
more than an interview. Because the interview thing, as soon as you say interview, people get very nervous.
Yeah,
And they get
do.
tense.
Mine's like a coffee table chat. That's exactly what
exactly.
mine is. Mine's
Yeah.
like a little coffee table thing.
Then it feels
Well, who
real
are
and
you? What are you?
authentic.
Yes, and it is real. And we also go live.
Right.
We're live streaming.
Which
so-
kind of raises the level a little bit.
Well, yeah, because we don't, nothing's kind of pre-interviewed and nothing's
Right.
pre-done. But I did this show for 16 years with
Yeah,
the
you
younger
found your
generation.
groove
I
and-
found it.
yeah.
And the reason I did it because I wanted them to know that it didn't matter where you came from, who you are, what you are. It meant that you could do anything you wanted out
Right.
there. And that's
We have a
that's-
similar story in a lot of ways.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, because I was really self-taught. I'm a musician. I worked with Cirque du Soleil for a long time, which you've talked about
Yes, yes,
before.
yes.
But I was self-taught. I'm a Getty photographer. I was self-taught for that. I'm kind of like, I'm not like the read the instructions guy. I'm like, get my hands
Oh,
dirty.
no,
and-
no, no. In England,
Yeah.
you're an idiot. If you read directions of anything,